Welcome Fishkos to another video lecture on economics. So let's get started. Things that we'll cover today are microeconomics, concept related to micro and macroeconomics, opportunity cost, we'll study this in depth today, examples related to opportunity cost to make us understand the concept of opportunity cost in depth, the production and the factors related to production, the production factors. So what is microeconomics? Microeconomics is the economics that deals with study of economics in individual affairs, and macroeconomics deals with the study of economics in aggregate of individual affairs. You can get confused of micro and macroeconomics, so just concentrate on this I and this A over here. This I, so assume that this I is for individual and this A is for aggregate to avoid confusion. So whenever the economics is concerning individual affairs, that is called microeconomics, and whenever the economics is concerning the aggregate of individual, that is macroeconomics. So now let's get started with opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is nothing but how much of A has been foregone in order to get some of B. That means the cost of the best option foregone. Let's take up an example to understand this very well. Let's suppose you have rupees 500 with you. You have rupees 500 with you. So what you can do with this 500? You have two options. Either you can save this in a saving bank account, or you can save this in a fixed deposit account. Let's assume that if you are doing this in a fixed deposit account, you are getting an interest rate of 6%, and if you save this amount in saving banks account, then you will get an interest rate of 4% per year. So the returns that you will get out of this 500 rupees is 4% of 500 rupees is rupees 20, and 6% of rupees 500 is rupees 30. So what we see is how much of A has been foregone in order to get some of B. That means how much of the best option you have foregone in order to get some of B. For example, if due to some circumstances I have chosen to save this amount in saving bank account with 4% interest rate, whereas I had the option that I could have saved this amount in a fixed deposit account, so I would have get 6% return, but I chose to go with the 4% return. So how much did I let go of A, that is the best option, just in order to get some of B? That means the opportunity cost is calculated by the best option, that is 30, and minus the option that has been chosen, that is 20. So opportunity cost here will be 10 rupees. This is the opportunity cost that I have chosen. Let's get into this quite deeper. Suppose you have chosen a reverse of this. That means if there is any mode here, the best option is 6%, and somehow you have chosen an option, or you have invested in some instruments that will get you return up to 10%. Return up to 10%. So what are you doing is you are getting rupees 10% of 500 is rupees 50 now. So rupees 50, that means the best option was 30, but you chose somehow to get a return of rupees 50. That means now this opportunity cost here will be the best option 30 minus you have chosen for 50. That means that is minus 20 rupees. Minus 20 rupees in reverse here. That means we can say that opportunity cost can be positive and negative as well. When it is positive, that means you are investing in an option that is not the best out of the available option, not the best of all the options available. But when it is negative, here you can see here it is negative, the opportunity cost is negative. That means you have chosen an option that is best among the available options. So if it is negative, that means best among the available option. Okay, so I think this is making a sense now. Now one more thing, the opportunity cost only will come into existence or come into play when there is scarcity of resources, only when there is scarcity of resources. Now say for example, if you have rupees 1000 with you, 1000 rupees with you, you have two options in either you go with the saving bank account or you go with the fixed deposit account. So you get rupees 500 into the saving bank account and rupees 500 in your rupees 500 in your fixed deposit account. So if there is no scarcity of resources, you need not to choose among whether you should go with the saving bank account or you should go with the fixed deposit account. So opportunity cost will not come into existence here. Only in case of scarcity only this will come into picture. So now what is a production possibility frontier? What is a production possibility frontier is basically, suppose that there is a firm, firm X, okay, they are having options of producing either product A or options of producing either product B. So if they produce product A, this will cost rupees 20 per unit of product A and rupees 10 of per unit of product B. So suppose they are in first condition, we will take up some example. We will take up 4 example to understand the production possibility frontier in depth. Suppose in first condition they are opting for 3 product of A and 4 product of B. They have total resource of rupees 100 with them. So what they will do now is they will produce 3 units of A, that means 3 into 20, that is 20, that is 60 rupees for product A, and 4 into 10, that is 40 rupees for product B. That means they are having a total amount of rupees 100 with them and they are only spending 60 rupees for A and 40 rupees for B. They are utilizing all the resources for both the products. And another example is they can produce 4 products of A, that is 4 into 20, that is 80, and 2 products of 10 rupees each unit equals to 20 rupees. Here also they, in both these cases, they are utilizing the resource completely. They are utilizing the resource completely, and they can produce these 2 products in these 2 possible combination. There can be other possible combination of the products also. I have just taken up these 2 example. You can choose any other example to make yourself understand the concept. So now another example, if that this firm is producing 2 units of product A, that is product A, 2 units, they will cost rupees 40 to the firm, and 1 unit of rupees 10 for product B, this will cost 10 rupees. So total they are spending only rupees 50. That means they are only spending a part of their resource that is available to them. So when they will do this, when there is a instability in the market. Say for example this pandemic time, so there is lesser demand of every product, almost every product in the production firm. So they will produce less amount of product in order to not entertain any loss that will be incurred by the company. So they will be producing less, and they will having a resource of rupees 50 spent out of the 100 rupees, and rupees 50 left also. Now to take up another example, that this company is, or this firm is producing 5 products of 5 units of product A. So they will spend rupees 100 on product A, and they have to spend rupees 50 more on product B. So this is not a possible product frontier. That means they cannot produce such product where they have resource only rupees 100 and they are trying to produce something that will cost them more than 100 rupees to produce only. So these are the possible combinations that they can do. Either they can completely utilize the resource, or they can partly use the resource and partly save. This will be done only in circumstances where there is market instability, and they can and there are conditions where it is not possible to produce a product of this combination, because the resources that is available will not support to produce this combination. So if now we plot this into graph, suppose this is x-axis This is y-axis. If we plot this example in graph, so here somewhere we can find one number example that we have taken, we can find it here, and somewhere here we will find number 2 example that we have taken, second example. So anywhere in the graph within this arc, if we can find the conditions that we have taken where the firm has utilized all the resources. And say for example this example where we have taken a production where they are producing lesser amount of product than the resource they have available. So this condition 3 will lie somewhere inside this arc towards the origin, somewhere here or anywhere inside the arc. Okay, so this is what happens in case there is instability in the market, or there is export barrier, or higher tariffs has been imposed on the exporters, so they will produce less in order to not entertain any kind of losses that has been incurred. So what happens if second condition, if the market is demanding lesser amount of product B and higher amount of product A, so higher amount of product A, and this graph will shift towards this end here. And if they are demanding higher product of B, higher units of product B, so this graph will shift towards this end. And if it is a market instability condition like nowadays what is happening, we can see in the pandemic time, so these points will shift toward inside. And what about this? This is totally impossible to produce something that is more than the resource available. So this will not lie within this graph, this will lie outside the arc, here somewhere outside the arc. This is point 4, this is point 3, the point 3 and point 4. So this is not possible, so this will lie outside the graph, and this is possible, but when they will have to save, or they are saving some amount of the resources, it will lie inside the arc. And when they are utilizing the resources completely, this will form an arc. Suppose we have more examples of when they are using their complete resources, and we are plotting them here, everywhere. So this will form an arc when they are completely utilizing the resource. Now we'll get into production factors. What are production factors? Production means producing any product or services. Doesn't necessarily implies machineries. So the basic understanding of production means we will have to have an entrepreneur or a firm or someone who is willing to produce. Then we'll have to have a space of land where the production will take place. We'll have to have laborers for helping out the production, and we'll have to have capital. That means here the capital means money. We'll have to have the money to invest into the production cycle, and this production cycle will get us returns. Now look into the production factors and the relations very carefully. Suppose for example the land. If these are the factors of the production, so whatever amount of expenditure will be on the cost of the firm, this will also be the revenue to the producer of the service or producer of the product. For example, the land. The lands, for example, the firm is taking the land on lease from a person, let's say person X. Okay, so the firm is taking the land on lease from person X. So what the firm will give? The firm will have to pay a rent amount, whatever the rent amount they have dealt with. They will have to pay a rent amount to person X, and this person X is also getting revenue out of this piece of land from the company. That means the factor land is also costing the firm, and at the same time the same amount of cost is being given to the provider as a part of revenue also. Say for example the rent was rupees 1000 for a piece of land to produce a product Y. So what is happening, that the company or the firm will give a rent of rupees 1000 out of their profit or out of their investment to the provider, to the landowner or to the landlord. Rupees 1000 he will gain as a part of revenue. Similarly, the salary of the laborers that the firm will incur, they will also be the revenue to the laborers they are working there. Similarly, capital and entrepreneur, the profit that will be earned by the entrepreneur is the profit that is the revenue to the provider also. Here the provider is entrepreneur only. So I think this is making a sense now. Now that we are done with the theory part, let's take up some questions. Question number one is about the opportunity cost. It says that statement 1 says that the cost of opportunity that has been missed out. That means opportunity cost is the cost of opportunity that has been missed out. Second statement says that it comes into play only in case of scarcity. Whenever there is scarcity, there is opportunity cost in the picture. And the third statement says that having a positive opportunity cost, this means opportunity cost, means the best option has been chosen. You have 5 seconds of time to think about this, answer in your mind, and then we'll discuss. Okay, so the first option of the cost of opportunity that has been missed out, we can say this is an opportunity cost. This is correct. It comes into play only when there is a scarcity. This is also correct. That means whenever there is scarcity, and they will have to choose how to deal with the resource, how to utilize it, and how to not. So there will be opportunity cost coming into the picture only if there is scarcity. Having a positive opportunity cost means the best option has been chosen. This statement is not correct, as having a positive opportunity cost is meaning that you have chosen something that is not the best option. The best option, say for example, we have taken rupees 30 was the best option, and we have chosen something for rupees 20. So this is getting us a positive opportunity cost 10 rupees. That means this positive opportunity cost is not the best option that we have chosen. So this option number 3 is wrong. Next question is for production factors. We have to find out which of them has been correctly matched. The wage is matched with capital, land is matched with entrepreneur, labor is matched with profit. You have 5 seconds of time to think about it and answer in your mind. The correct answer for this question is this is none of them. How none of them? Wage is not the capital of the firm or the company. Wage is the salary. Wage will be matched with labor. If this was supposed to be true, so wage would have been matched with labor. Land is matched with entrepreneur. Land is not entrepreneur. Entrepreneur would have been matched with this. Entrepreneur would have been matched with profit. He is concerned with profit. Land will be concerned with, if you know, do comment. Land will be concerned with what? Labor is matched here with profit, but labor has nothing to do with the profit. Labor is basically what he is doing. He is getting his salary. So who is concerned with profit? Only the entrepreneur is concerned with profit. So thank you all for your patience listening.